64, holding that second reading, public hearing on the 22nd. Kevin, that's yours. 44, which is mine, will be up in the third reading. Mayor, is there anything you wanted to add or speak to the ordinance?
No, it's the map, and really, there's, other than what we've already indicated, it's much of a formality at this point to what we're going to give back to these companies.
And we're giving him back based on how they met the goal.
Yeah, based on the recommendation that was given by the committee, and I'll let Ron talk about that, but yeah, the committee made the recommendations to what should be given back based on how many jobs they created.
And a yes vote is to support the recommendation.
Yes.
Okay.
Okay, moving on to 55, Jan, that's yours.
Yep.
Anyone have any questions, comments, concerns, or criticisms of 55?
I'll have some questions on the floor.
Yeah. Only second reading. Only second reading.
For which?
55.
Oh, okay.
Moving on to 62, Kevin, will you take that one? Is anyone opposed to any of these appointments not going 3 reads? Because I'm just assuming we're going to go all 3 reads on these. Is anyone opposed to that?
I do have a question. What is the total cost of these hires?
With benefits and everything's about $180,000. That's in ordinance number 55.
No, we're talking about the hiring of the 6 firemen and.
Right, and that's part of the Sagamore contract, and it's in part of ordinance 55, which is to increase the appropriations $180,000 for salaries, and the rest goes into other expenditures. So it's
Okay,
a total
so
of
let me clarify my question then. We're hiring 6 firemen full-time, and the total cost annually is?
For salaries and benefits, it's $180,000.
Not for a full year. Not for a full year.
No, that's just for now till the end.
She's asking full year.
I haven't figured out what it is for a full year, but the contract is $750,000.
I understand. That's why I'm asking. What is it for the full year?
I just did it through the
Are
rest
these
of
summer
this year.
replacements besides the Sagamore? Chief,
Yes.
are these replacements plus Sagamore?
Replacements,
All the hiring?
replacements, all new, 6 new full-time.
That's what I thought.
members.
These are all the Sagamore hires, right?
2 of them are
Could you let him
currently on
answer?
Northfield Center, Sagamore Hills.
Right.
So this is the replacements plus Sagamore?
Well,
No replacement.
No.
No replacements?
No
okay.
replacements.
I can't hear, Chief.
Yeah, no replacements. These are new hires.
Okay.
So, do you have a ballpark estimate of what these 6 hires are costing?
What they're costing?
Yes,
Or
for an
years?
annually, that's what I'm
Yeah, that
asking.
was all provided.
Well, I know,
previously
I'm
as
just
far as-
asking you what that was, what the
Well,
number
you
was.
know, we figured high-end. We don't know what type of health care that they're going to take. But we were still figuring.
Assuming high-end.
540, something right around there.
Assuming high-end healthcare, it
Yeah.
would be
We
6
figured that
something?
the worst-case scenario was about 540.
Okay, that's what I wanted to hear the answer. That's on the record. Thank you.
62, Kevin, third reading, please. 63, Jeffrey Talicki. Jan, will you take that one, please? 64, Mr. Harmon. I will take that one. 65, Brian Fleming. Dave, will you take that one, please?
Yes.
66, Joshua Cirque. Sylvia, will you take that one, please?
Yes.
67, Matthew Snowden. I will take that one. 68 is Philip Isaac. Kevin, will you take that one, please?
Yes.
69, ordinance authorizing the mayor to enter an agreement with Huntington Bank to finance the purchase of fire medic unit and telephone system. Jan, that one will be yours. Mayor, would you like to speak to that?
Sure. I've got AJ here as well so that we can talk about all of the work he's done on this, because he's done quite a bit. But one part of this is obviously the new fire squad that we have out in front. That's to finance it. We've already paid cash for it, but we got to finance it now because we took it out of the general fund monies.
Actually, it was paid for at 401 because that's where it was appropriated. The fire medic unit came in early before we could get any financing, so we signed a declaration to get tax exempt refinancing. So what'll happen is we'll get paid back for what we paid into it.
So,
So we paid cash, and then we're gonna borrow the money, get
And
the
they're going-
cash back,
Finance it
and then
for
we're
5
gonna
years.
pay it over 5 years.
Right.
What's the interest rate?
2.25.
right.
So what do
And
we
the
do?
total is going to be what in interest? I didn't see an amortization schedule.
Well, that's because we haven't determined if the telephone system is going to pass. But if it's paying at 2.25%, making 2 semi-annual payments, we're looking at a total of $305,000 about for the whole.
So it's about
290,000.
15,000, and I noticed that we had the telephone system in the plan for next year. What is the urgency of putting it in this year?
Well, we just are paying way too much on our phone bill all the time. So by us financing a phone system, I can easily cut $1,500 out of our monthly phone bill. So that, you know, if you take that minus what it's going to cost to finance it, we're still going to save money. So
Okay, yes, we would if it's 1,500 a month, we would.
So what's the cost to purchase the system now?
so we haven't like completely finalized, but I have one quote for 40. So this is the same system.
Right.
One quote for 41,000, one for 60,000. So same exact systems, 2 different vendors. So we're looking at around 40,000 for the system.
So obviously you're going to take the 40,000, but simple math would say that. But is there any specific reason why we want to proceed ahead at this point? I mean,
Because we continue to bleed money.
well, you're
through the
just saying it's
process.
because of the 1,500 a month you believe you'll save, is that it?
Yeah, right.
Okay.
In addition to the fact that our phone system was put in when this building was built, it was a state-of-the-art
No,
great system.
I'm not objecting to the idea of a new system, I'm just asking the question why
Yep.
we suddenly have this show up, that's all.
Yeah, I mean, if it was something where we weren't saving money, I wouldn't recommend it right away. But I mean, we will definitely
Yeah, if we're
save
going
money.
to save money, your argument is logical, that's right.
And we're getting the 41,000 because you weren't shaking your head yes, and she was shaking her head yes. Is it the 40? Is that the one we're getting?
Yeah, it's the same. I just wanted to get 2 quotes from 2 different vendors. I mean, yeah, I wouldn't get. The
I wonder
system.
why there
Right,
would
I
be
was just
such a
curious.
difference.
Just sometimes they give you better discounts. It's kind of their company policy. Yeah, I know. I was surprised when they came back at that much.
Did we give them a tax break or something?
Is it in the same ordinance because it's both going to Huntington Bank?
Yeah, I don't understand that either.
Yes, it's going to be under one.
Yeah, it'd be under
That's
one
why.
note.
Okay.
Yeah.
And as a side, Huntington did not want 2 separate ordinances because that would have been the city's preference. To have 2 different single items under one, 2 separate ordinances. But Huntington prefers that way.
Clarify.
But, no, whatever Huntington would like, to me, it's not significant unless they threaten to charge us more interest.
Oh, I'm sure they would.
Typically, one ordinance, one subject, typically. That's-
Well, I mean,
Yeah.
we are going to purchase things separately, and we may use Huntington, I don't know, unless we don't want to go back after we've done this. Okay, I got it.
So it's going to be 305 with the truck and the phone system. So it's the truck itself that's
That's
290,
annual
right?
payment.
We're
No,
going to
it's
finance 250,
Okay, so okay.
and then 40,000 for the.
Gotcha.
And
Thank you.
15 for the interest.
So we're financing
Over a 5-year time, correct?
a total of
Correct.
290.
290 total.
And there will be an amortization schedule available.
Once I get the final numbers, I'll provide it.
Anyone opposed to a 3 reading on that one?
I don't think
No,
we
no,
can because
no, we don't, yeah.
we don't have the final contract from Huntington. Her son was in the hospital, and so because there's no contract with this, we were just going to leave it first.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I think I was
So we're
just
gonna
going to
do
ask that
one.
question.
Yes, first reading.
Jan?
Nick, we're gonna do one.
What's that?
One.
Yeah.
There's too many conversations going on at once, so.
Moving on to ordinance 70, Mayor entering an agreement with Northfield Center Township to provide emergency fire and medical services to the township. I will take that one, and I'm sure we're gonna have a good conversation around this one, Mr. Mayor.
It's pretty cut and dry. It's very similar to the same as the Sagamore contract. There's a little bit more defining of some issues in there. You obviously have the contract in hand. You made the comparison, just defining some of the, like what infrastructure is, and who's responsible for screwing a light bulb in if one is needed in one of the vehicles or something like that. So it was just redefining the contract in more detail than what was in the Sagamore contract. It's almost verbatim from what the Sagamore is, though, for the most part.
So we're going first reading then? Can we get somebody sign this?
Has Northfield passed theirs?
No, I'm not sure what their meeting date is, but
No, and I thought Mark indicated first reading, but he can elaborate on that.
I'm okay with first reading. Okay.
So do we have to have it done by the 15th?
Well, yes, because at our next meeting, which is the 8th, hopefully we can pass it on the 8th if theirs is in place, and we can sign the contract and start up service for them on the 15th.
I have a question because when I noticed when I scanned through the meetings, we didn't have a meeting listed on the 8th.
Well, it was my mistake. There is
Oh.
a meeting on the 8th. It was my bad. It is on the master calendar on the website in here.
Right, I'm just looking here when I
Yeah.
was looking at the,
Mr. Boogie pointed it out.
so we have one on the 8th, all right.
Any other questions?
Freudian slip, maybe?
We only canceled this on the once.
Moving on to motions or legislative items. Donation from Lowe's. A Golden Link, 6 packs of ceiling tiles valued at $330 for use at the Longwood Manor. Dave, would you take that one, please?
Yep.
And we have confirming the mayor's appointment of Kent Shelko to the Board of Zoning and Code Appeals for a 5-year term ending August 17th, 2021. Jan, will you take that one?
Yes, that's
And one other topic, there's been some conversation with the upcoming levy that we have, so I'm going to call a Streets and Highways meeting for the committee, which is Kevin and Dave. Initially, I was thinking the first with holiday. If that doesn't work for you guys, we can move it on to the 15th.
I think the 15th.
This is for the committee only.
What was the dates that you were thinking?
First to the 15th.
First works for me because, well, I guess both dates work for me.
Well, I don't know if holiday, I figured,
Yeah, it's a holiday.
what works better for you, Dave?
I don't care.
15th? 15th? That work for you?
Let me just double check, I'm pretty sure it does. At night, 6 o'clock, 6:30?
6:30. 6:30 good for you?
Yeah.
All right, 6:30 on the 15th.
In conjunction with that, I would like to do some town hall meetings as it relates to both issues that are going to be on the ballot. I think we need to sit and meet with residents and talk with them and explain, and I think we should probably set some dates for those if council wants to be involved and participate in answering questions. I think that would be a good thing. It's a paramount issue in my mind on both issues. Streets need to get done. I get calls every day. What are you going to do about my street? Tell me where I'm going to get the money, and I'll take care of your street. I don't have the money to take care of the streets. So what are we supposed to do?
Would it be a good idea to have one that evening after our committee meeting? Because what I'm going to do is ask engineering to provide us with some solid concrete numbers and a possible plan if it does come into fruition. So we'll have something in hand and actually have something we can work off of. So would that night be
That'd be fine with
after our
me.
meeting?
That could be one of a few.
The 15th, we're going to have a Streets and Highway, Kevin, Dave, and I, committee meeting. And we'll have a town hall meeting at 7:30. Sound fair?
Just to clarify, it is a public meeting, the Streets and Highways meeting.
Committee meeting?
Yeah,
Yeah, it's a public meeting.
okay, thank you.
It's just a town hall meeting. It's not a regular meeting. It's not a public hearing.
Well, the committee will meet beforehand, which will be
Yeah.
us three.
And your time on that?
6:30 on the 15th, and then 7:30 for the public meeting, and I'll make the announcement tonight as well.
Here. Chief is asking, regarding all these people that are out there.
There was some issue or questions about the Northeastern Ohio Regional Storm Sewer District, or whatever all those letters are. And I had made a suggestion that we should have a representative come to a meeting and make a presentation. I'd ask you because you would have.
I was going to talk to you about the other section. I
Okay.
apologize for not responding.
No, you think that's a good idea too?
Yeah, absolutely.
All right, I
Because
will
the
get.
mayor has already talked to those folks, like given the information, so that we can invite them to speak at a meeting.
All right, so are you telling me that the mayor's going to invite those people?
The mayor had already, you might want to check
All right.
the mayor, because the mayor had been in conversation with them.
I thought I had heard they were coming as well.
Mayor,
Go ahead,
please.
Northeast Ohio Regional Sewer, were they supposed to come and speak with us? 'Cause I swore you had said it, but there was an email that went around and we were talking about doing it. Was there something set up for that already? And if
I
not,
think
can
Diana was setting some, or I thought I heard something about setting that up where they could come in and talk to us about the process to which they're going through. I can't confirm that she did that or not at this point.
Can you ask them to come in? And I think our intent is specifically for us. We don't need to hear about the other communities. I think what we want is what we're going to get from it and how we're going to utilize it. And how
On
it's
the
gonna
15th,
work.
would you like them?
No. I think the 8th would be a good one.
Ask them to come in.
Not the 8th, anything but the 8th. I'm not going to be at the next meeting.
Or the 22nd.
The 22nd is the public
That's a
hearing.
public hearing. You don't want to add that to the same one, it'll be too
So
long.
we'll do it the first meeting in October, but I think we want to know about the money they collect, what we do to apply to get it, what are the requirements, engineering issues.
I can
what's
almost
being paid.
tell you, since I've been going back and forth with them on that.
I know, but there has been a difference of opinion, and so we were asking, the thought was, we'd like to hear it from the mouth of the horse.
Yeah. So you want to do October's first meeting?
Please. That's it. Anything else, Mr. Mayor? All right.
Not really, no.
8 minutes.
NUSD, first meeting in October, first meeting.
The hour is 7:30, and this is a regular scheduled Macedonia council meeting. And at this time, I would call for a roll call.
Mr. Bilkey.
Here.
Mr. Engel.
Here.
Ms. Hannikin.
Here.
Mr. Mulner.
Here.
Ms. Tully. Here.
Okay. At this time, I'm going to call on our chaplain, Tom O'Brien, to lead us in prayer and then the Pledge of Allegiance. Please rise.
Thank you, Your Honor. Council members, with bowed heads, let us pray. Almighty God, as we gather together this evening for a Macedonia Council meeting, let us be ever mindful that our council members are here to provide those services that meet the needs of our community. Guide our council members to be open to innovative ideas and work together for the common good that serves all the citizens of Macedonia. Let our citizens be ever respectful of our leaders who work tirelessly to resolve the problems that face our community. And lastly, Almighty God, please give comfort to our neighbors who may be less fortunate and help those who suffer both physical and mental disabilities. Amen. And now, with hand over heart, please join me in our Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you, Chaplain.
Thank you.
Okay, we're going to kind of just, well, let me take the minutes first and get an approval of the minutes from our July 28th, 2016 meeting.
Make a motion to accept the minutes dated July 28th, 2016.
Second.
I have an addition for the minutes. Ms. Arcisi, during public comments, there was an extensive discussion between the mayor and a number of the people who are making public comments, and I asked to make rebuttal comments, and I was told no. I'd like that included in the minutes, otherwise they're sufficient.
Anyone want to second?
Okay, not hearing a second to the motion to amend the minutes as
Yes.
reflected, then,
Oh, that was a motion?
Well, you're
Right.
amending the minutes. She has to amend the minutes.
Oh, all right. I'll pass. I'll second it. I'm sorry, I didn't understand the procedure.
okay, we have a motion and we do have a second to amend the minutes to reflect as indicated by Mrs. Hannikin. I would ask for a roll call.
Mr. Bilkey?
I mean, I don't remember the conversation, but I will, defer to my colleagues, so yes.
Mr. Engel?
Yes.
Ms. Hannikin?
Yes.
Mr. Molnar?
I need to verify before I vote on it. I don't remember exactly what's being spoken of, so I guess if I have to vote, I'll abstain.
And Ms. Tully?
No.
Okay, the motion carries. The minutes will be so reflected as indicated. Next item, we're going to kind of take, well, let's go to the financial report and acknowledging the receipt of the financial report dated July 31st, 2016.
I make that motion to acknowledge.
Second.
Okay, we have a motion and a second. Are there any questions? Hearing none, all those in favor indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, the motion's carried. Now, I just want to kind of take our agenda items a little bit out of order instead of going directly to public comments. We have obviously a large crowd here this evening, and we have a number of firefighters, full-time firefighters that are going to be appointed. I think there may be one part-time person as well. And so I'd like to go right directly to ordinance number 62, 2016. And the first person that we're going to ask to bring forward is Eric Anderson. If you would step forward, we're going to have you step forward, Eric, and we're going to have the first reading. Do we have a motion for the first reading?
We're
Third
gonna-
reading.
I'll make the motion, Mr. Mayor.
First, second, third reading, rather. I'm sorry.
Mr. Mayor, I'd like to make a motion to offer ordinance number 62, 2016 for its first, second, and third reading by title only.
Second.
Okay, we have a motion and a second. All those in favor indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, motion's carried.
An ordinance confirming the appointment by the mayor of Eric Anderson to the position of full-time firefighter paramedic in the city of Macedonia.
Okay, you've heard the reading.
Mr. Mayor, I move to adopt ordinance number 62 and post the same according to law.
Second.
Okay, we have a motion and a second. And before I go further and ask for the approval, Chief, do you want to say a few words about
Yes, I would like to say a few words. Absolutely. Eric Anderson is number one on our list out of the 40 individuals. He scored extremely high, obviously, to place himself number one. He has a bachelor's in physics. He has a associate's in EMS. He has an associate. I'm getting worried as I'm reading all of these, but associates in nursing will be soon sitting for his RN test soon to become an RN. Certainly he's a certified National Registry paramedic. He has been a part-time on the Macedonia Fire Department for 2 years. In his past, he has served in Haiti as a volunteer, running a hospital down there for in a third world country. He did that for 3 years. And he did a 328 on the combat challenge test, which is quite well on that test. I'll maybe talk about that a little bit down. So National Registry paramedic, we're very, very happy to have him. He is a part-timer and now will become a full-timer.
Great. I think the process of how we go through this, and maybe what we do is we get them all the legislation first behind us, then call them all up, and then we'll
Yes,
do the
that's what I
pinning
would
of
like to
their
do. I would like to give them a chance to speak and introduce some people. There's a
Correct.
large amount of audience here some
Perhaps you would like to introduce your family at this time, and that would probably be helpful as each of you come up, and then later we'll have whoever you want to come and pin your badge on you.
Okay, you want me to put my family up?
Well, you can identify them now and ask them to stand, and we'll
Okay.
certainly.
This is my family over here. My mom and dad, Christine and Tom Anderson. Next to them, my girlfriend, Mary Cargill. Behind them, in the tall blonde, is my brother Matthew, my sister, Lisa, and her boyfriend, Larry.
Well, congratulations to you guys. Okay, we have a motion and a second. All those in favor indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? The motion's carried, and Eric will be calling you back up shortly. Thank you very much.
Congratulations.
Okay, well, the next item on the agenda is ordinance number 63.
Mr. Mayor, I'd like to offer ordinance number 63, 2016, for its first, second, and third reading by title only, please.
Second.
Okay, we have a motion and a second. All those in favor indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? The motion's carried.
An ordinance confirming the appointment by the mayor of Jeffrey Tillicki to the position of full-time firefighter paramedic in the city of Macedonia.
Jeffrey, are you here? You want to step forward as well? Thank you. You've heard the reading.
Mr. Mayor, it's my honor to offer that we pass and post according to law ordinance number 63, 2016, please.
Second.
Yeah. Okay, we have a motion. Do we have a second?
Second.
Okay, we have a motion and a second. Chief, would you like to elaborate?
Yes, I would. Jeff is a Northfield Center resident. He's an officer on the Northfield Center Sagamore Hills Fire District. He's a full-time firefighter in the city of Warren. I would imagine he'll be leaving that position. He also,
Yeah, it'd be hard to be full-time two places.
hopefully they know maybe, but 4 years previous service, he was on the Macedonia Fire Department. So he served 4 years with us. He left when he accepted a full-time job in Warren, and now he's coming back. So we're very fortunate to have Jeff back.
Great. And Jeff, would you like to introduce your family?
Pretty big.
Okay, well, that's good.
Alright, my Aunt Jackie, my mom, my dad, my Aunt Barb, my grandma, my grandpa, my Uncle Tom, my Aunt Sue, my sister-in-law Jen, my nephew Damon, my wife Jen, Glenn, Katie, my Uncle Brian. I guess I could call some of them my friends.
Wait a minute, who did you forget?
Family now.
And all those members back there are your family members as well.
And all of them live in, do they all live in Warren or in Ewell?
No, Warren was a long drive for me.
All right, great, thank you very much. All those in favor indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? The motion's carried, and Jeffrey, again, we'll be calling you up and with the others, and we'll be swearing you in and asking a member of your family to put the badge on you as well.
All right, thank you.
Thank you. Okay, next item on the agenda is ordinance number 64.
Mayor, I offer ordinance 64 for its first, second, and third reading by title only.
Second.
Okay, we have a motion and a second. All those in favor indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion's carried.
An ordinance confirming the appointment by the mayor of Matthew Harmon to the position of full-time firefighter paramedic in the city of Macedonia.
Matthew, are you here? Could you step forward as well? You've heard the reading. What is your pleasure?
I move that we pass and post according to law ordinance 64, 2016.
Second.
Okay, we have a motion and a second. Again, we'll call on the chief.
But this is a special honor. We first met Matt when he was 15 years old as a Macedonia Fire Explorer. So he's always smiling, not just as he's getting hired. This kid's always smiling. He made the front page of the paper when he was going to Rio to volunteer to be a paramedic in Rio. He just got back last night. That was very exciting. I haven't been able to catch up to him, but he volunteered there. He's 7 years on Hudson EMS. obviously a nationally registered paramedic, but it's always an honor to have somebody that was a Macedonia Fire Explorer. Started at age 15. That was not a year ago. That was several years ago. So it's very exciting to be able to bring somebody at the age of 15, have them around the fire service, and then choose to be in the fire service and make it a career in their life, and then be able to hire them. So,
Great, great. Well, Matthew, do you have family here with you? Yes, I do. Would you like to introduce them?
Sure. This is my mom, Sue. Girlfriend Leah, and my mom's
Well, congratulations. All those in favor indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? The motion's carried.
Mr. Mayor, I'd like to offer ordinance 65, 2016 for a first, second, and third reading by title only.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. All those in favor indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? The motion's carried.
An ordinance confirming the appointment by the mayor of Brian Fleming to the position of full-time firefighter paramedic in the city of Macedonia.
Brian, are you here? Could you step forward? Thank you. You've heard the reading. What is your pleasure?
Mr. Mayor, I move that we pass and post according to law ordinance 65, 2016.
Second.
Okay, we have a motion and a second. Chief, would you like to elaborate?
yes, Brian comes to us number 3 on our list. So number 3 out of 40. He is a senior firefighter, 5 years firefighting experience with Concord Township. He's also a firefighter on Paynesville. He'll be coming to us full-time. National Registry paramedic, a long list of accolades for him. I got to tell you, the reason why we honed in is our HR director made some phone calls on his behalf, and he was the shining star on our list as far as references, as far as people calling and saying what type of individual he is. That was backed up by the polygraph and the psychological and everything like that. So we're very fortunate to have him here.
Great. Brian, do you have family with you here?
Yeah. Got my dad, Brian Sr., and then my mom, Christina.
Why don't you stand so we can see who you are? Congratulations to you. All those in favor indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? The motion's carried. Next item on the agenda, 66.
Mr. Mayor, I'm offering ordinance number 66, 2016 for its first, second, and third reading by title only.
Second.
Okay, we have a motion and a second. Is Joshua here? Come forward. All those in favor indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? The motion's carried. You've heard the reading?
Sorry, I didn't.
Oh, we haven't heard the reading.
No, apparently not.
I'm getting ahead of myself here.
An ordinance confirming the appointment by the mayor of Joshua Shirk? Cirque. I was going to say Cirque du Soleil, so to the position of full-time firefighter paramedic to the city of Macedonia.
Okay, you've heard the reading.
I move we pass and post ordinance number 66, 2016 according to law.
Second.
Okay, we have a motion and a second. At this time, we'll call on the chief again.
Joshua comes to us from Aurora Fire Department. He's there for 4 years in the Aurora Fire Department. He's also on the Russell Fire Department. He's also on the Orange Fire Department. Obviously, National Registry paramedic, passed all of our testing with flying colors, and we're very fortunate to have him here. He has more people to introduce in the audience, too. When you come here and you bring chiefs, highly respected chiefs and officers here, it's rather important. It's my honor to have these people here. So he's got to introduce the chiefs that he brought along to support him, along with his family.
That's fantastic. Go ahead, Joshua. Introduce it. Sure.
That's my dad, Stan, my sister, Rebecca, my mom on the end, Jody, my girlfriend, Anna, my brother-in-law, Jake, and then Chief Barnes from Aurora, Assistant Chief Schmader from Aurora, and then in the back, Chief Frazier from Russell.
Thank you for coming.
He still has some more.
Oh, he
still has some more.
Okay.
Captain Brad Davis from Aurora.
Wow.
Matt McBurney. I lost him. Lieutenant McBurney's in the back.
goodness.
I'd like to thank all of them for coming out.
Well, congratulations. All those in favor indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, the motion is carried. Next item is 67.
I'd like to offer ordinance 67, 2016 for its first, second, and third reading by title only.
Second.
Okay, we have a motion and a second. All those in favor indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, the motion is carried. Is Matthew here? Could you step forward, please?
And while he's doing that, an ordinance confirming the appointment by the mayor of Matthew Snowden to the position of full-time firefighter paramedic at the city of Macedonia.
Okay, you've heard the reading.
Move that we pass and post according to law ordinance 67, 2016.
Second.
Second.
Okay. Chief?
Yes, Matt comes to us with 15 years' experience on the Oakwood Fire Department, 10 years' experience on the Twinsburg Fire Department, all very close. He's got an associate degree in diesel mechanics, so we're going to be utilizing him to wrench on some of our stuff.
Okay.
Our gentle giant's going to be working on our equipment. State certified fire safety inspector, also a hazmat technician. So when he comes, he carries a lot of certifications with him. And as I was saying on one of the other new hires, when I started calling a couple references on Matt, my phone lit up. I did not have to call anybody else because they called me. And that's never happened before. I had multiple highly respected people calling me, telling me what type of person this guy was. So it's our honor to have him here too and make him a full-time employee.
Great. All those in favor indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? The motion's carried. Matt, you want to introduce your family?
My wife, I have 2 kids, my brother's here, 2 brother-in-laws, my Dennis and Eric are here, my mother-in-law, my father-in-law.
Can they stand up, please?
Thank you.
Here, too, Uncle Greg and Amy, Dave Tapp from Oakwood Fire's here, and I saw him like coin. He works with me.
Congratulations, Matt. Okay, the next one on the agenda is ordinance 68.
Mr. Mayor, I offer ordinance number 68 for its first, second, and third reading by title only.
Second.
Okay, we have a motion and a second. All those in favor indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? The motion's carried.
An ordinance confirming the appointment by the mayor of Philip Isaac to the position of part-time firefighter.
Okay, you've heard the reading. What is your pleasure?
I move that we pass and post ordinance number 68, 2016, the same according to law.
Second.
Okay, we have a motion and a second. I know, where's Phil at?
Phil is not here tonight.
Oh, he's not here?
Yes.
I see his, okay. All right, well,
Phil-
Phil's been with us for a lot of years, by the way. I'll let the chief expand.
Absolutely. Phil served over 20 years when he lived in the city of Macedonia. He moved about 3 years ago. He moved to Sagamore Hills, joined the Northfield Center Sagamore Hills Fire District, and now he'll be coming back to serve with us again. So 20 years experience pretty much fits right back in. So
Great. All those in favor indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? The motion's carried. Now I'm going to ask that all of those that we just appointed, full-time guys that were up here, would step forward and ask the person that is going to pin your badge to come with you. And then I'll come down and I'm going to swear you all in at the same time. And I'm going to ask that you will repeat after me. And when we get to your name, you'll just repeat your name and we'll get this done painlessly. Maybe if everybody would step over here in front of the podium. That way you can be facing the audience and I'll put my back to the audience.
Just line up this way. Yep, right there. Oh, we're on this side?
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, sorry, I misunderstood.
Dave, would you like to come up with the trustee, Dave, come up and, why don't you both come out? We've got 2 trustees here for a second. So some of these are your hires, guys. Look, just like a fireman. I got a light on maybe I need it done. Okay, what I'm going to do is ask that each of you raise your right hand, and then when I ask for your name individually, you'll say your name individually. And so you go, I, then your name. Say your names.
Jeff Tyler Key.
Matthew
Brian Joshua Sir. Eric Anderson.
Okay. Do solemnly swear.
Solemnly swear.
And affirm.
And affirm.
That I shall uphold.
That shall uphold.
Support in the word and spirit.
Support in the word and spirit.
The Constitution of the United States.
The Constitution of the United States.
Of America.
Of America.
The Constitution of the State of Ohio.
The Constitution of the State of Ohio.
All laws of the federal and state.
All laws of the federal and state.
The Charter.
The Charter.
Ordinances and resolutions.
Ordinances and resolutions.
Of the City of Macedonia.
Of the City of Macedonia.
And that I shall faithfully.
And that I shall faithfully.
And honestly.
And honestly.
And impartially discharge.
And impartially discharge.
My duties.
My duties.
As full-time firefighter paramedic.
As full-time firefighter paramedic.
During my term of office.
During my term of office.
As I shall answer to God.
As I shall answer to God.
Congratulations to all of you. Now, I'll ask that either your spouse, your girlfriend, or whomever is next to you to please, or your wife, to please then pin on your badges. I'd like to congratulate each and every one of you. Welcome to Macedonia's finest.
Thanks, sir.
Jay, thank you. Congratulations. 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 Chief, have you signed on each one of these that is identified with yourselves, and then I'll sign it, and we'll have it notarized, and we'll get a copy. Congratulations. Thank you.
Thanks, sir.
We have the guys over here, the newly hired guys. The guys, know so we can get a picture. John, Dave.
I said
Maybe we should stand up behind. I'll feel very tall. Like stand in front of you guys, I'll look very short.
Smile, let's eat some tea.
Families to go back over to the fire station.
wants to talk about heroin advocacy. No problem. This was a good disruption tonight.
The usual suspects now. Looks like
Well, we have 3 more to go.
okay. We're going to have comments.
These are always nice to see.
Wow. You really know how to clear a room.
Heck of a.
Just say cake and ice cream out there.
Okay, thank you all for your patience. We're going to now resume our regular meeting here. Not that we have left it. We're at that point of the meeting, or going back to our agenda, and that is for comments from the audience. And we have, the first is Mark Papira. Hi, Mark. We just asked that you step to the mic over here, Mark, and just state your name, and happy to receive anything you have to say.
I'm Mark Papera, 7304 Honeydale. Strange enough to say I'm a resident of Northfield Center, so why am I here? Well, I want to thank you folks for this opportunity to address the City Council and Mayor Joe. I want to express my thanks to Chief Tim Black and Mark Gadetti for their excellent contributions to hash out the fire EMS contract details at the work session we had at our town hall this last Wednesday. Our trustee concerns were addressed professionally, and the meeting was extremely productive, and thankfully it was non-exciting for a change. We look forward to having a contract in place very soon. You are all well aware of the collapse of the Northfield Center Sagamore Hills Fire District, but that was a perfect example of creative destruction. After all the failed talks over all these years, what it took was a cataclysmic event like that to get the regionalization ball rolling again. Now we look forward to Macedonia, Sagamore, and Northfield Center. They'll have a unified fire EMS leadership team in place. We'll look for it to provide enhanced service to all our communities due to the inherent efficiencies of scale and the enhanced access for outside funding often targeted at multi-jurisdictional fire EMS services. The other options we had, one of them was go it alone, and those are just dead-end options now, especially for small communities. So I just say I, myself, and along with our group leader who was unable to be here tonight, Lou LaGuardia, and the other members of our ring of perpetrators, fiscal responsibility in Northfield Center, hope that the next few years will be a stellar example of what can be accomplished when communities pool their resources and work together. Thank you for your attention.
Thank you, Mark.
Appreciate it.
It was a pleasure working with Northfield Center and the townships, yourself, and others that brought this about. Thank you. Okay, the next person is Tim Maxim, Jr. Tim, I just ask you to step forward here and just state your name and your address, and happy to receive anything you would like to say.
Hi, my name is Timothy Maxim, and my 7326 Forsythia over at Northfield Center, actually. And I'm going here today, and tomorrow I'll be at the Northfield Village Council meeting on behalf of some friends who have, I'll speak on the heroin epidemic that is going on in communities across the nation, really. But you hear about them being in the big cities, and it's in the suburbs too. Right here in the Dona Hills area, people I've known my whole life that I've grown up with have, lost a son to an overdose of heroin, and the one's right there, Sharon, and she was strong enough to be able to make it here today. And my friend Candy here lost her son 2 years ago. There's a couple other ones that couldn't be here tonight, and we're just looking to create Wake, be voices. I know Officer Mackey, I will be meeting with him tomorrow about doing a pep rally of some sort, candlelight vigil. I don't know if I need to go to the high school, and they're doing the high school for that, to use the stands. But I'd actually like it to be even Twinsburg and everybody around involved to just pass out flyers, and I know that'd be footwork out here, but I'm just here because I've never done nothing like this, but it's something needs to be happening, and just trying to be a voice, and I'm just asking for any type of support or any direction to be pointed in, or who I need to talk to, if there's permits involved, that sort of thing.
Well, Tim, we're certainly behind anything that can help curtail the heroin epidemic that's out there. We know that there's a lot of bad heroin out there. We obviously would like to see nobody take it, but those individuals that are taking and taking the bad stuff is obviously causing overdoses as well as death.
Yes.
And what you're attempting to do, I think, is fantastic. We need more people to get involved, and I can assure you that the city will do whatever we can to support the idea of making people aware of the epidemic that's out there. And I have been getting these reports, by the way, through the county almost on a daily basis, and the spike in heroin overdoses is unbelievable. It's just unbelievable.
It really is.
We, as a city, need to make sure that we're involved. That's why our presence in the schools and having juvenile officers in the school is something that's very important to us, and in the community, and to try to curtail this type of activity. And any awareness that a group like yourself or others that want to bring about, we're going to stand behind you and support it.
That's great. Also, I had a question too. Do the cities here, the police departments or the ambulance carry Narcan? You guys, is that available right now here? Yeah.
Yes, we do have that. And Chief Black, we do have the Narcan, and
Absolutely.
we have brought back quite a few individuals that have overdosed in the past. And but unfortunately, they know that we have that drug, so therefore they don't mind overdosing, because they know that when we get there, we're going to bring them back to life.
It's a crazy game of Russian roulette.
Yeah.
I battled addiction for many years, and if that would have been my drug of choice at 44, with all the relapses I've had, I wouldn't be here at 44, because that drug, you don't last that long. You really don't. I have a great vision of the day this all comes about and the support of everybody being involved, and I really hope this is the first step of something really great that's going to be permanently set in place. To be of support and to be of outreach, and to be just even prevention too. So.
Will you tell us how you would like to, if you're having an event or want to do an event or make some additional awareness to the public, we're certainly behind it. So just let us know. I'll make our both chiefs available, both police and fire, and myself and others within our administration to help and assist make that awareness greater.
Okay. Thank you very much for your time.
Thank you.
What was the judge that was here? That was
Judge Teodosio, and Tom Teodosio was one of the advocates for this issue as well. I don't know if
that might be a good resource that maybe we can put you in touch with, because we had Judge Teodosio here, and he talked about, and the one stat that stuck in my mind is that for every person in Summit County, there is in 1 year prescribed like 300 pills, and it'll be 300 pills, pain pills per person. And I think that that's what generally leads people to heroin. And there's a lot of different studies out there, but I think that might not be a bad place to start with him. I'm sure we can get you in touch with Judge Teodosio to maybe do something on a broader spectrum I'm sure that'd be a great resource for you, so I'll help with it if they're busy, so I'll get with you after the meeting.
Thank you. Okay. We have no other public comments, and at this time, let's see, we're going to go to other pending legislation. We have ordinance number 34.
Mr. Mayor, ordinance number, going to, I guess I'm not going to offer, we're going to hold it at second reading. And I'd like to remind people that the public hearing is going to be held on September 2nd, 2016 at 6:45 in this room.
Okay. Thank you. Next item is ordinance number 44.
Mayor, I'd like to offer ordinance 44, 2016 for its third reading by title only.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. All those in favor indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? The motion is carried.
An ordinance amending appropriation ordinance number 17, 2016 for additional expenditures.
Okay, you've heard the reading.
Move that we pass and post according to law ordinance 44, 2016.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Are there any questions or comments? Hearing none. All those in favor indicate by saying
I'd like to have a roll call vote.
okay. At this time, we'll ask that the clerk please call the roll.
Mr. Bilkey.
Yes.
Mr. Engel.
Yes.
Ms. Hannikin.
No, I'd like to make the comment that I don't believe that we should be making partial payments. I know that was the recommendation of the committee, but when people sign an agreement with the city that they're going to add so many jobs, they need to meet that agreement. If they don't meet that agreement, then we are creating a situation where we're undermining the basic premise of the MOP agreements. And these are agreements to rebate taxes to these companies who add specific numbers of jobs. So I'm going to vote no.
Mr. Molnar.
I think it's important to have committees that recommend things to us because it's not only us making decisions. Taking the curmudgeon approach to everything is not necessarily what I feel is best for us. So I think that when the committee makes a recommendation or the administration and we pick it apart and we talk about it, it should bring us to a point where we should understand what we're trying to accomplish and not just our opinions. My vote's yes.
Ms. Tully.
Yes.
Okay, the motion's carried. And I just would like to pick up on that. There is a committee. These companies were not companies that I had negotiated with. These are companies that have been negotiated over the years that had received some incentive for developing in our city. It's not untypical, though, that some of them do meet and or exceed their expectations, and sometimes they fall short. And that's where the committee comes in, and they will either modify or make a recommendation to make it less than what was intended to be given to them. I think the maximum that any company can get is, I think, $50,000. Am I correct?
It's a maximum of 50,000, but it's also 50% of whatever they pay in. So
Okay.
it's the lower of the.
Lower of the two numbers. So, and I want to thank the committee because they obviously spend the time, they review, they make the recommendation, and that's what it's all about. And these are residents, by the way, other residents of our community that are looking at this. Okay, next item is ordinance number 44. No, I'm sorry, 55.
Mr. Mayor, I'd like to offer ordinance number 55, 2016 for its second reading by title only, please.
An ordinance amending appropriation ordinance number 17, 2016 for salaries and wages and additional expenditures for the period January 1, 2016 to December 31st, 2016.
Okay. All right. I think we now jump all the way down to ordinance number 69.
Mr. Mayor, I'd like to offer ordinance number 69, 2016 for its first reading by title only, please.
An ordinance authorizing the mayor to enter into an agreement with Huntington Bank to finance the purchase of the fire medic unit and telephone system, and a telephone system.
Okay. Next item on the agenda is ordinance number 70.
Mayor, I'd like to offer ordinance 70, 2016 for its first reading by title only.
And waiving the rule of council.
And I'd also, I'm sorry, I'd like to do that first.
Yes, why don't you do that first?
Make it first.
Make a motion to suspend the 48-hour rule for ordinance 70, 2016.
Second.
Okay, we have a motion and a second to waive the rule of council that it be in your hands 48 hours. All those in favor indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, the motion's carried.
And now I make my motion for the first reading of ordinance 70, 2016.
An ordinance authorizing the mayor to enter into an agreement with the Northfield Center Township, Ohio, to provide emergency fire and medical services to the township.
Okay, thank you. Okay, the next is authorizing the mayor to accept a donation. Would someone like to make that motion?
Mr. Mayor, I'd like to make a motion authorizing the mayor to accept a donation on behalf of the city of Macedonia from Lowe's Home Improvement at Golden Link Crossing of 6 ceiling tiles valued at $330 for use at Longwood Manor.
We have a motion and a second. All those in favor indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, the motion is carried. Next item on the agenda is confirming the mayor's appointment of Kent Shelko to the Board of BZA.
Mr. Mayor, I'd like to make a motion to confirm the mayor's reappointment of Kent Shelko to the Board of Zoning and Building Code Appeals for a 5-year term ending, can't believe I'm reading this, August 17, 2021.
Second.
Okay, we have a motion and a second. Are there any questions? Kent has obviously been on the ZBA board. This is just a reappointment. I guess he had taken someone's unexpired term, which I think it was
Mr. Sott.
Scott.
Mr.
When he moved, Mr. Sott.
Yeah,
When
Sott.
he moved it.
Right,
Yeah,
I'm
Greg.
sorry. Any questions? Hearing none, all those in favor indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, the motion's carried. Correspondence?
I do have one letter, sir, and I've gotten permission to edit it a little bit because it's long. Dear Mayor Miglerini, I'm writing this to give you a big thank you to your service department. It all started with the request for the city to dig out my ditches and to the service director, John Nanavenge, a few months ago. Once the request was in, I just had to wait until the service department could do it. I live in a corner, so it was the lot is big, and the lot on the ditch is big and a lot to dig out. The ditch in front of the house was overgrown. You could not tell that there was a ditch there. The next thing I know is a big truck and a fancy machine was in front of my house with service guys digging out the ditch. They did a great job and is now a real ditch. The city has a program where the property owner purchases the replacement pipe and then it gets delivered and the service department will digs up your driveway and takes out the old and replaces it with the new. I know that this is a long letter, but this wasn't a one-time thing that they did for me. The ditch cleaning was great, finding out how bad the pipe was under my driveway, and because you could see it. And then following up with me of what I needed to do and the work that was done by the various employees of the service department to complete this project. The other major pipe issue was, under driftwood on my side was so far underground that very little water flowed from the other side of driftwood. And anyone driving past Shepherd and Driftwood could see the flood in my neighbor's yard due to the pipe being so clogged up. In closing, this is a great program, and the service department employees who worked on it cared and did a great job with what they had done. They kept me informed on the project. The city provided the muscle and the means to help this resident with stormwater, which I greatly appreciated. Thank you to the service department, the service director. Also thanks to the city of Macedonia for this type of program where resident can request a service, get it done, and have professional workers care and work on their job for just one person in the city of what has now become 11,000. Karen Bartolozzi of 1377 Driftwood Lane. I hope I didn't mess up her letter too much.
Karen was here just a little bit ago. She must have left.
She went to get the ice cream and cake.
Oh, okay. Well, I don't blame her. Hopefully, we can all go back down and get some of that. Thank you. Is there any other correspondence?
No, sir.
No? Okay. Mayor's reports then, or report, I should say. Happy to indicate that we have received $11,000 grant from the Addiction Home Akron-Canton Title III, which is for our senior citizen program and feeding those in the Nordoni Hills area. We do that obviously twice a week where we have seniors come in and have lunch here at City Hall. And this grant money will help offset the cost for those luncheons that we provide right here. Mayor's Court this quarter for July brought in $30,864. We just received our street grinder, which is something that we're now implementing ourselves, where we're going to actually physically go out and we're going to grind areas and do some pavement replacement ourselves. Now, obviously, it's nice to have the grinder and all, but we certainly don't have a lot of funds earmarked for roads and asphalt and things that we do need. And again, I just want to indicate that I know that the payroll and profit tax did go down in the city. It's very unfortunate that that did not pass. And I can only tell you, as the administrator, the mayor of the city, that there are no funds for doing roads. I get calls every day from residents and saying, when are you going to fix the hole on my street, or when is my street going to be fixed? And I tell them, I'm sorry, we do not have the funds to pave your road. There is no magic, whatever you want to call it. There's no way for us to find the money in this system. The Band-Aid that we're going after right now, going to the ballot in November for the 0.25%, essentially will drive half the dollars and take care of only half of the $20 million of roads that we need to repave. The city, unfortunately, has never had earmarked funds for roads, and we're always pulling out of the general fund trying to make ends meet. The city does have infrastructure needs that are in excess of $36 million. And when I say that, when you start talking about needing a service garage, we have been far overdue in getting a service garage where we can house all of our equipment. Our equipment sits outside through the winter. Our buildings leak, even though we have 3 different locations. We could get rid of a couple of them and have consolidation of one building, probably save some money in the heat and electric and all the other overhead that we have to pay. But that's just one of many items that we need to take care of. We have our police cruisers that sit outside. They should be under shelter at least, so that they don't have to run 24/7 and burn gas, and we can keep them from being all snowed up and iced up in the winter months especially. There's a lot of other needs, and I mean, we're doing as much as we possibly can up at the park. We are building with the excess money that we receive from Windmill Golf for the rental of the property for the golf course. We've taken those excess dollars and we are building dugouts for the 4 ball diamonds that we have there. We've put in 8 dugouts. They're all masonry. We're doing that all in-house, by the way. We're saving the city a lot of money. The next item will be, we're going to tear out the entranceway, and we are going to put in a new digital sign there, and we're going to dress up the front of that main entrance with a new digital sign and identification for the park, as well as the rec facility. We hope to start on that in the next couple of weeks. We have started our free tool rental program again. We now have tables and chairs for those in the community that want to borrow them. We have those now available. You can pick them up on or call or make a reservation for a Friday to pick them up and bring them back on a Monday. We also have numerous small tools, weed whips, lawnmowers, and other wheelbarrows, what have you, very similar to what we had many years ago when I was mayor. We had that program in place, and a lot of people loved it and utilized a lot of that equipment. We're happy that we can do it. We had set aside about $15,000 to buy all of this small tools and equipment, and we are now starting to accumulate, and we'll continue to do that and offer that program to our residents. And the only other and last item I would want to talk about is the rec facility. There is obviously going to be a request of the voters to continue the 0.25% to build the 3 items to which we found from the Survey Monkey that was done. They overwhelmingly wanted to see a gymnasium. They wanted to see an expansion, enhancement of the paths throughout the park, and they also wanted to see an outdoor pool. Now, in light of the Wet and Wild, or whatever we call that, what do we call that place? I call it Wet and Wild.
Wild water casino.
A wild. There was just an announcement this weekend, this past weekend, that they were closing their doors, and obviously that's going to obviously put perhaps pressure on our city and others to provide for some sort of outdoor recreation.
Can I ask you a question?
Sure, go ahead, Mike.
Why aren't we interested in outside pool? Let's get this other stuff done. Leave that pool alone.
Okay, I hear you. I'm just telling you what the people have commented on, Mike. Those were the 3 items that the residents responded to on the survey. The consideration will obviously be on the ballot for people's consideration. We have a lot of young families in the town, and I've continued to get calls from a lot of residents stating that they would at least want to have it for consideration on the ballot, which they're going to get in November. It's going to be up to the voters. If they want it, they will vote it in. It's not a new tax. It's a continuation of the existing tax that's on there, which is a 0.25%. And by the way, I need to emphasize this as well, that if it doesn't pass, we will have a shortfall in the operating cost of almost $400,000. The 0.25% will drive $1 million a year, and we do not have $400,000 in the general fund to throw to the recreation facility. So it will desperately cause the city to make a decision as to what we do with the recreation facility if it doesn't pass. I'm not quite sure what steps we would take to either have to close it down, to either cut half of the programming out and have it only active in a part-time basis. I'm not quite sure how we're going to deal with it. So I'm indicating that because it's very, very important to know that the $1 million that it's going to drive, $400,000 is already earmarked for operational costs, and there will be $600,000 available for debt service for adding those things that will be needed for the parks. I'm not making this up. This is facts. This is on the table right now. It is what it is. So, having said all of that, I will now move on to let's see here. To committee reports.
Mr. Mayor, I'd like to remind everybody that the Parks and Rec Committee will be meeting on September 7th at 6:30. We do those meetings at the Rec Center, and they're public hearings for anyone to attend, and we will be addressing some of the things that you just mentioned.
Okay.
Mayor, I'd like to call to order. We're going to have a meeting on
September 15th.
I've lost it there. September 15th. There will be a Streets and Highway Committee meeting, which will begin at 6:30. That will consist of Mr. Bilkey, Mr. Engel, and myself. And then at 7:30, we will have a town hall meeting regarding the levy that we are going to put on in November. So we're going to have a lot of information being provided from engineering to us to show where we're at, what we need to do, and put everything into a little bit easier context to understand why and what we're doing. So that will be all on September 15th, beginning at 6:30.
Okay, thank you. And I'm sure we'll get that advertised that there's going to be the town hall meeting so that there's residents that have questions about any of the things that are going to be on the ballot. We will be here hopefully to answer any of those questions. Department reports. Joe?
Yeah. Thanks, Mayor. Not too much new to report. Of course, the two big projects going on right now in the city are ODOT projects, so we continue to stay in close contact with ODOT regarding that work. State Route 82, Shepherd Road is still scheduled to reopen on September 3rd. So we're all looking forward to that. It's been a bit of an inconvenience for a lot of people. And the State Route 82 project as a whole still scheduled to be completed this fall. So that's good news. And the same for the I-271 project, also nearing completion. It'll be finished this fall. In fact, they were paving I-271 tonight as I drove in, so that was nice to see. They have or are in the process of fixing the overhead lighting near Summer Drive. As we know, it's been a nuisance for a lot of people, so ODOT is taking care of that for us, and we are still awaiting final word on any redo of the sound wall. So if and when we get an update from ODOT on that, we'll certainly let you know.
Mr. Gelati, I do have a question about that. Another resident from that area contacted me who is at the bend where the state had a fence at one point where they took the part of that fence out in order to put the wall in. They have not restored the fence to connect to the wall. So what used to be a fence there that the state had produced is no longer there. And the family living there has 2 small children and a dog, and they want to have some idea of what's happening with that.
Sure. I guess let me ask you 2 questions.
Right.
Do you have an address, and do
Yes,
you know?
I do. 10041 Valley View.
Valley View, okay. And when did they contact you?
They contacted me in the past week.
Oh, okay. Because this issue had come up with a number of residents on Summer Drive, in which
Yes, I know.
exact same thing occurred, and ODOT did a few weeks ago repaired those fences. So this
Actually,
must be a different location.
in this case, they did in fact repair. What happened is ODOT had taken down the homeowners' fences.
Mm-hmm.
This is in fact not a homeowner's fence. It was produced and it was there as part of that state fence that was isolating off of the exit ramp.
Mm-hmm.
And what they haven't done is repair the state fence to connect it to the wall. If you get my under.
Oh, okay, gotcha.
Okay.
And the address is 1041?
I'll give it to you after the meeting, okay?
Got it. Thank you.
Okay. Anything else, Joe?
That's all, Mayor.
Yeah.
Thanks.
Yeah, you know, just one point that Joe and I talked today at, I'm quite disappointed on our 3rd phase of Route 82 and some of the improvements that were done on that project. You know, I first stated that the turning lanes that weren't being put in on Shepherd Road, I think, was a real mess that we didn't get those in. That's something that should have been done and something that GPD should have done. It should have been 4 lanes all the way through, which I think was really important for the community to get 4 lanes. But most importantly, which I just realized today and after talking with Joe and after seeing what they were doing out there is that they did not extend the sidewalks beyond the reserve lane. That to me is like terrible. Those sidewalks should have gone up to the park on 82. I'm very, very, very disappointed. And when I think that we spent $800,000 on engineering with GPD and have been shortchanged, I'm very upset. Mm-hmm. And I say this publicly because when we did first phase of 82, we made sure we got sidewalks in, and we got them on both sides of the street. And when we did phase 2, obviously, sidewalks are in phase 2. And they should have been extended. This was the only opportunity and the greatest opportunity with having funding by the state of Ohio to pay for that, and whatever portion that we would have paid for would have started to tie us all together by bringing sidewalks all the way up to the park, especially up to the park where people are more than likely going to walk on a regular basis. I see people walking up and down 82 right now on the street. So I'm very, very disappointed. I want you to know that, you know, if there was something I could do right now to change that, I would. And I have reached out to ODOT, but they do not want to listen to doing any modification with regards to turning lanes or any of the other things. So I want to make clear that this administration is not happy with how those plans were put together and how I think we're shortchanged. So that's about as much as I want to say about that. Angela.
Thank you, Mayor. The Recreation Department is making a desperate plea for volunteer youth soccer coaches and flag football coaches. Our parent participation coming up this fall is at an all-time low. We try to provide high-quality programming. It does a lot of times rely on parent participation in those sports, and we just don't seem to have that interest coming up this fall. So what that then causes is, us to reduce the programming, combine leagues, have too many kids on a team, things that parents certainly don't want to see happen to the programs they're paying for, and certainly things that we don't like to have to do. So if you don't have a child in the program, we would still love to have you get involved. You don't absolutely need to have all of the experience or knowledge. We can provide you with those tools and training. We also, kind of going along those lines, are in need of referees. So if you have an interest in football and you know the sport, you have an interest in soccer and you know the sport, we'd like to have you contact us to referee some youth games coming up this fall. So please contact us. If you know anyone, please pass the word along. We would love to hear from people and have them get involved in these programs. The only other thing that I have is just to remind people that the Recreation Center will be closed for Labor Day on Monday, September 5th, which is amazing. We're talking about September, but it's almost upon us, and we will be closed that day for the holiday. And that's all I have this evening. Thank you.
Thank you, Angela. Rhonda?
Thank you, Mayor. Just a brief comment about our update on income tax money that we received in August, which is for July receipts. For the month, we have received $600,883.17. And if you compare that to 2015's number of $871,049.57, we are down for the month $270,166.40, which brings us to a negative $318,832.86 for the year. I have spoken out with Rita, and we have identified a handful of accounts that make up the majority of this decrease in this month of July, and Rita is researching to see what is it due to. Is it due to a timing? It could be just a timing difference, and it could be a culmination of events. So down $318,000.
I looked at the Rita report, and it appears that our net profits collection dived pretty significantly in July.
Actually, the net profit was down $51,795.
Yeah, it was down a significant amount of money in July. What is the explanation they've given you?
Right now, we're just looking at, there's in the top 25 companies, there are probably 4 or 5 that contribute to this amount.
Yes.
In the top largest contributors. We're not able to state which companies there are. But
I don't care which companies.
We could look to see, Rita and I are looking to see what is the reason for it. Is it a timing difference or whatnot? So. Okay,
so it's unknown right now.
Right. But the withholdings is actually the largest negative, which is down $135,643. So.
Yes, and is there an explanation for that?
No, we're looking into all of them.
Okay.
Rhonda, didn't you indicate, not this evening, but in our discussions, that both the City of Cleveland and City of Akron are both going to the ballot?
They are.
To go to 2.5%?
Both of them. Currently, Akron is at 2.25%, and Cleveland is at 2%. Both of them are trying to increase to 2.5% in November.
Hudson, and I think Walton Hills is already there.
Yes.
So, I mean, I think that many communities obviously are searching for those same dollars. The shame about it will be is that Macedonia, if it doesn't have it in place, they'll be paying it to the City of Cleveland and the City of Akron and any other community that they're that they're working in, and we will not get the money here in the city.
Correct.
That's
But-
the crazy thing about
But the
this.
residents wouldn't owe the city of Macedonia any additional.
So
amounts.
they'll get their streets paved, but we won't get ours.
Right.
That'd be really great. Tim?
I'd like to thank council for the appointments tonight. There will be more, especially with the contract from Northfield Center to come into this joint venture. I'd like to thank the trustees that showed up. Dave DePasquale, who has been working feverishly on the new station over there to make it very nice, and John Zaccardelli for coming over tonight. These hires will be paid for by Sagamore Hills. So that's the money that they're paying us to be able to provide this service out. So as of September 15th, it might be rather exciting. So we'll be trying to work feverishly around the clock to make sure that it's seamless and there's no interruptions.
Yeah. Dave, how are we doing with the building? Is everything coming along pretty good?
Looking good. Stop by for a visit next week.
Okay.
We'll be ready for paint.
All right, great. Look forward to seeing it. Did they everything turn out okay with the restroom? Yeah. Okay. Good. Okay. Chief?
No report, Mayor.
Okay. Anyone else that I forgot out there? Okay. Mark, you have anything?
No report, Mayor.
Okay. All right. Is there any unfinished business?
I just make one comment. I'm really excited to hear about when Shepherd Road's going to open. But I want to remind folks that all the streets, and trust me, everybody that lives on these streets knows that you have to come down Deepwood, Shepherd Hills, Ledge, Berkshire, but the speed limit is 25 miles an hour. There are young kids and a lot of young families who've moved in, and we see a lot of kids on the street, and we know you got to get to work. Crow is a massive traffic jam because people are coming in to filter out. Please drive the speed limit. Be conscious of the fact that you wouldn't want people from those houses driving on your street at 50 miles an hour. And I want to thank the chief because he has had patrol cars out trying to be very visible in all of that community in those streets so people recognize. And when Shepherd opens, it's not 50 miles an hour on Shepherd either. Thank you.
Thank you. Any other?
I just had a piece of new business that out of nowhere, Twinsburg Road is closed for the next 17 days, and I got a few people where I live now have to take another route to work, and it kind of came like really quick, and there was no postings and whatnot. So I asked Chief Goldnick what happened. He said basically the Northfield Southern basically shut the road down when they wanted to, and just posted it, and that was it. So there was a half-hour warning to the police. They got it out 20 minutes later on Nixle, and I started getting calls 40 minutes after that, like, what the heck happened? And so I just want to let everyone know that, you know, a lot of people blame the city and communication. Well, the communication needs to come from other places too, to the appropriate time, and let us know that we could have made, you know, arrangements. But once it started, I guess the next question that I had was, well, can we postpone it till 82 is done? And the answer is basically once the railroad ties, once the railroad gets involved, it's not going to stop its project. And so we're going to have to bear with more traffic, less roads for the next 17 days. I believe it's going to reopen on September 8th.
8th or 9th,
yeah, was the
depending.
date. And, you know, if you can direct your questions to me, I'll do the best to answer them. But I also know that, you know, sometimes you have to give the answer that it's not what you want to hear, is that the city sometimes is not involved with some of the things, and, you know, so, you know.
Well, they weren't informed, apparently.
Well, yeah, not at an appropriate time.
Yeah, an appropriate
They
planning.
know they need to contact the mayor's office, the building department, let everybody know. Several weeks before, they contacted dispatch and said, here in the next couple weeks sometime, we're going to close the road and safety forces won't be able to get through. That's not how you do it. They didn't give us a specific date. They need to contact the mayor's office and our engineering to let the city know that the road is going to be closed. They need to post signs. There was no signage. The police department got a call a half an hour before the road was closed. Dispatch got the Nixle alert out 20 minutes prior to them closing the road, and that was our notification. It's dealing with Norfolk Southern, as the city has dealt with for how long?
So
Good
are
luck.
detour signs from the city, or is that from the railroad?
I,
Okay, because there was eventually, I drove past there earlier that day and I didn't see any signs.
Yep.
And then when I came back from a
that would be a
different way.
question
Yeah.
for
And
John.
then there was a detour sign taking people past Twinsburg Road to Heinz Hill, doubling back on Walters. That was the detour to get around it.
Right.
But again, it
As-
didn't happen.
Yeah, the
There
mayor's
were a
office
lot of
received some
complaints.
calls, as you did, and Diana was referring them to a Norfolk
Yeah.
complaint line or something like that. Good luck on that one. I think it just rings to the place in the, but yeah, the city had nothing to do with this one.
Well, I think it's totally inappropriate, obviously, that they didn't make reasonable contact, give us reasonable notice.
Would have been.
We have a health, safety, and welfare issue here. I think we need to take this a few steps further in sending them a letter, putting them on notice that their actions were inappropriate, that they put life in peril here, if
Right,
you will.
I mean, with the safety services.
I mean, our safety services
Well,
couldn't get
that's right.
through. If, with that short notice, we didn't make appropriate provisions to get around that area, I don't think that they should have been able to just close down our road.
We'll make sure the letter gets to the appropriate people, not just a hotline.
If you remember back to the quiet zone issue, some of us that were here, that was a
They used to
tumultuous
sing,
process.
they used to sing our letterhead.
They answer to no. They're higher than God, and it's really unfortunate because we deal with this often. And I've had a lot of complaints like Kevin did where, why are you shutting down the road? Why are you shutting down the railroad tracks? It's not us. Well, why can't you talk to them? They don't listen.
Well, we could.
Tell them to postpone it.
Yeah, right, well,
Mark,
we could.
Mark, can we also assure that
So is-
whatever
is-
work they do is not detrimental to the work that was done to create that as a quiet zone?
Well, that's certainly going to be part of it.
I'm sure that's in the
Is
contract.
that whole railroad, is that all Macedonia or is part of that Northfield Center?
Twinsburg Road?
Yeah,
It's all Macedonia.
It's
So where that-
Macedonia
where that
to
place is.
Walters, yeah.
okay.
Going west, we're to the next T intersection.
Because
Right.
I wouldn't think that their neighbors would not, if they knew, probably tell us too, so.
I'm sure they
Nobody
would.
knew.
I have a question concerning the suicide that apparently occurred in the jail. I know that we have a regular procedure where we're looking in the cells every hour. Was that completed and we still had this problem?
Yep.
I see. I have some questions, but Mr. Notavenge isn't here, so I'm going to hold those to the next meeting. I assume he's going to be here, so,
Yeah, he'll be here at the next meeting. He's on vacation.
yeah, I understand.
Okay. Any other comments? Oh,
I'll have to ask the chief, what about that guy that kept that motorcycle going up down North Bedford Road about 2 o'clock in the morning?
Why don't you talk to me after the meeting?
Huh?
Talk to me after the meeting.
okay.
Motion to adjourn.
Okay, we have a motion. Do we have a second to that? All those in favor indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Motion's carried. We're adjourned. Thank you for all being here. Drive carefully. Remember, the kids are out playing. They're back in school.